Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing today? You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. It is Friday. That means it's the Friday brunch. Couple of things to talk about today. We want to talk about one, who, as far as the opponents for the Atlanta Falcons is concerned, who is best suited to start the season against our Atlanta Falcons. We'll get into that in 1 second. And bad behavior. When is going too far the norm with your alphas and your dogs? Let's get back to it. What's going on, everyone? Hope you all are having a great Friday. It is May 3rd. We have been, it's crazy, man. I was talking to my wife about this earlier. Did it not just seem like we just started the year? And I don't know how many times I keep saying that, but it seems like January just happened. Like we just started the new year, and 2024 is just about what, 40% of the way done? Man, this year is flying by. But we're here anyway, talking on the Friday brunch. You're with your Uncle Steve. Appreciate everyone joining us here on YouTube. Appreciate you. I've been trying to put the word out. I know ever since Facebook went to where they're not doing the third party streams. And don't get me wrong, I'm still going to include Facebook on a few things, but lately I've just been going straight YouTube, and quite honestly, the majority of the people have followed it. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I just don't even want to deal with uh, all of the stuff with Facebook, but it is what it is. Um, but thank you all for joining us here in the lounge. I wanted to talk about a couple of things today, and I'm gonna put that on here, and then we'll start the chat as we normally do. Feel free to put your thoughts in there. I had two things. The floor is open for any conversation. We'll talk about everything, but two things that were on my mind today, as the NFL has recently been teasing about the NFL schedule. It sounds like, from what I'm hearing, a lot of people thinking it's going to be released next week. And it just got me to thinking on this pivotal year with the Atlanta Falcons, with the change, especially at the quarterback position that we've made. Uh, who's your choice for the Atlanta Falcons season opening opponent? I just wanted to briefly go through there. We already know who we're playing, but it's a matter of when we play them. And folks, it makes a difference. I know for those that think it doesn't, it really does make a difference, because sometimes when you make your West Coast swing early, when you're kind of trying to get things together, it makes a difference where you are in your development as your team. We got a lot of adjusting to do with Kirk Cousins in here to get acclimated to his receivers and things of that nature. And I would rather catch I know this sounds like you're fearful of them, but it's not. But I'd rather catch maybe the more difficult teams early. So let's take a quick peek before we get into into what you think about it. This is courtesy from of AtlantaFalcons.com. The opponents for the Falcons this year, and you see the home opponents, the divisionals we already know. We have a really good home schedule, y'all. Kansas City, Defending champs, New York Giants always pull a crowd. Dallas Cowboys always pulling a crowd. LA Chargers are on the home schedule. Pittsburgh Steelers towels will be all over the bins, I'm sure. And the Seattle Seahawks wrap it up for the home schedule. The away schedule, again, division opponents: Philadelphia, Washington, Minnesota, Raiders, and the Broncos. Now, I'll tell you right ahead of time, here's my thought. We have 9 home games this year. I really have a strong inclination that the Falcons are going to be chosen for this Germany game this year. Remember how last year we went out on a limb about, our partnership with Germany? We had the young man who came out and did one of the draft picks from Germany. I have a sneaky suspicion that one of these home opponents is going to be our Germany game. Now that might not be the season opening game, so I'm saying that to take that off the list. I really feel like that's going to be a game, and more than likely, with the kind of strength of our schedule, I could kind of see that game being either the Seahawks or possibly one of the division games. I don't see them moving Dallas overseas. I don't see them sending Kansas City with us over to Germany, Giants, or Pittsburgh. So that's my thought on one of the games. So as far as season opening is concerned, here's my thought if you're the NFL and you want to bring intrigue. Start the season with the Falcons traveling back to Kirk Cousins' last place in Minnesota. Start that game off on them and let it be one of your primetime games. Atlanta versus Minnesota starting off the year. Kirk Cousins goes home immediately. Get all of that pomp and circumstance out of the way. And there you go. Season opening game. I wouldn't do it for division games. I wasn't a big fan, unless it's the Saints. Obviously, Saints has something different. But if it's going to be the Saints, I would want the Saints. I would want to play there. Last 2 years, we've ended up our season or close to the end of our season in New Orleans. This year, I want us to get the last game. See it, make it worthwhile. So that's where I am as far as that's concerned. Who's your choice for the Atlanta Falcons season opening opponent? The other thing I want to talk to, definitely football related, but just in general, things that just kind of bother me. And don't get twisted by the title that I'm putting them in here, because that's just nicknames when you talk about alphas and dogs in there. No, I'm not talking about fraternities. I'm talking about some of the terms we put on some of these players. And one of the reasons why I brought this up is because of the behavior yesterday of one Patrick Beverly. Now, Patrick Beverly, Draymond Green, what's the kid? Dylan Brooks. Those are guys that if they're playing for your team, you probably love them. They got a little edge to them. They got a little bit of screw loose up top. And they'll run through the walls for their teammates when they're there. But at some point, it seems like that line of dog and whatever on the field, on the court, on the baseball diamond, when it crosses over to just bad behavior. Now, last night, there was an altercation between the Indiana Pacers fans and Patrick Beverly. I do not know what was said. I haven't really heard a lot of people. I believe wholeheartedly the fans were probably getting on him. And that's one of the things I don't like about fans, even when I'm at the game. I don't like when fans take it over the top, and especially if you're close to the athlete. It's almost like you're trying to push them. You're trying to agitate them and get them to that point. So from that standpoint, fans don't get a pass for being irrational either. But they are fans, and you are the enemy player. Long as it doesn't get into, race baiting or name calling out a name calling, you're perfectly fine to say, man, that dude, your play sucks. That was awful. You're horrible on the court. I think that's fair game, even if you're right there next to him. But for Patrick Beverly, when you throw the basketball at folks, and I don't know whether the young lady was the one talking junk or not, I have no idea. It's a horrible look, whether it's a lady or a man, to be honest with you. But even more, I live in a world where I just think you don't touch hit women, period. So I took it very much like that was just horrible behavior. And then afterwards, when they do the little interview afterwards, in Melinda Williams, I think her name is, where you get into, oh, you don't subscribe to my pod, so you can't talk to me. Oh, like, dude, you are a mess. You can't talk to me because you're not subscribed to my podcast. Is that where we're going now? And I'm saying Pat Beverly, on a scale of NBA players, he's not even tier. On his best, he's a tier 3 player. At his absolute best, Patrick Beverly hasn't been that guy probably in 6, 7 years. And to me, I lost all respect for him with the Chris Paul thing. For those who remember a couple of years ago when Phoenix made it to the finals and he pushed him in the back, didn't face up to him, did it from the back. To me, I lost total respect for him when he did that. But at what point do we stop making excuses for that? That happens on the football field as well. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, we made excuses for him. He's just that type of player. Now, I know that was after the perfect hit for those of you who want to say why. But just that unhinged, uncontrollable personality. At what point do we stop trying to pretend like that's cool? Draymond Green wailing off. Now, the team's got to deal with that. Wailing off, socking your teammate in the face. Not trying to say it doesn't get heated, doesn't get embattled. I'm not saying Jordan Poole didn't say something to agitate it. But when you don't have control of yourself, or the thing that probably made me not like the Patrick Beverly thing even more, because Patrick Beverly is not a dummy. He's really not. He's kind of intelligent if you really listen to him. That's what disappoints me more. So when we talk about the alphas and the dogs in sports, how far is too far with bad behavior? That's what we're talking about. Let's get into the chat. We'll talk about everything from the schedule to the Falcons and anything else y'all want to ask and talk about. We'll get to it. Leading off today, my brother Scooter in the house. What's up, Scoot? How you feeling, man? Happy Friday to you as well. Lisa Shepard's in the house. Hey, Lisa, from Blogging Dirty. Make sure y'all check her out. Happy Friday to you. David Starks is here. What's up, David? Devontae's in the house. What's up, Ump? I'm looking forward to us having a great season despite what everyone thinks about us. Rise up. Yeah, the outside noise from outside Atlanta, Devontae, I'm so done. I'm not even thinking about that. Every prognosticator, the Falcons had an F draft. The Falcons are the worst thinking. Okay, I'm fine. Yeah, they acting like they beating up a team that's been winning. Yeah, we're already there mentality wise outside Atlanta world. Y'all don't have to keep knocking it down. We're fine. David says, "Are you sick of the media pity party for Cousins?" I am. Let me tell you something. That's another misnomer. Kirk Cousins, and you saw the Falcons released a little thing with Kirk Cousins throwing the ball, and that's great. I only saw one throw, but that's great, as I know he's recovering. Yeah, but all of this Falcons doing Kirk Cousins wrong. What is Kirk Cousins' mentality gonna be like? Is his ego gonna be bruised after we just gave this man the biggest bag we've given anybody on average in history of this franchise? Yeah, that's one of those things where I'm kind of gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to get over that. And I don't even listen. As I stated last week, we all have egos. Whether we believe it, I have an ego. Other folks have egos. We do, but I think I can manage it in a certain way that, yeah, I might come out every now and then and be uncharacteristically uh kind of sappy about it. But man, if I'm getting a 40 to $50 million paycheck, $100 million guaranteed, I'm sorry, man. You're not gonna get the average world to feel sorry for you. I don't care how many times you talk about these athletes, they're real people. Yeah, they're real people, but they're real rich people too. And not that rich should make you think any different, but I'm also like, okay, I'm gonna need you to compartmentalize that attitude if there is some. And I want to be fair because I haven't heard him come out and say anything. I haven't heard one press conference from him since the draft. So I'm waiting for him to come out. That's going to be an interesting presser when he finally does come out. So, but yeah, I pity party is. Travis, what's up, sir? He said Minnesota would be an ideal first opponent. Could be part of a Monday night doubleheader. Kirk faces his old team with Dallas Turner intrigue in the. Yeah, I forgot about Dallas Turner part of it too. I was actually talking to my buddy Big Low Country Sports. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. That was the team that I said. I said that would be the most intriguing. Minnesota Vikings going to Minnesota for Kirk Cousins. Dallas Turner, who was clearly upset that draft night. I don't blame him. Clearly upset that just about 80% of mock drafts picked him to go to the Falcons. How much will he have on his plate? That's a good one to me. That's the one I choose. Antoine, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Say what's good, Falcons family. Just wanted to check in. Got to go back to work, brother. You enjoy your day after work. Appreciate you passing in as always. Thank you so much. My brother Frank in the house. What's going on, Frank? How you feeling, brother? Hope they ain't killing you out there. Do your thing, man. Damon Ward in the house. What's up, Damon? Happy Friday to you. Say, I'm so excited about this football season. Well, I am excited every year about my Falcons. I think we'll start the season off with the Chargers or the Saints. The Saints, again, Damon, I wouldn't mind if it's the Saints, but I would want the Saints at their place. I don't want the last 2 years for some reason. I just don't like to start with New Orleans at New Orleans and then start the season here in Atlanta and then go to New Orleans for the end. Flip the script this year. I don't think we flipped the script for that since 22. Since 21, I think. 21. Flip the script. David says we'll probably start off with those bums in New Orleans. Again, if that's going to be a choice, I'd rather do it in New Orleans. But I hear you. 3:30. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. My buddy Charles in the house. How you doing, Charles? Good to see you, man. Said week 1, Dallas Cowboys. Wow, that would be, woo. That would be interesting right there. He said Cowboys DC is Zimmer. That's right. That's Charles, former Minnesota guy. He said Zim famously said to the GM, if you sign Cousins, I will get fired. Meaning there will be money to keep the defense strong. No love lost between them. I hear you. That would be behind the scenes a very intriguing matchup. I would think the only thing about that, Charles, I think folks think Dallas, not even think. Dallas is quite honestly one of the popular franchises to start off the year. So when you start thinking about Dallas, Dallas's opponent has to be something special for them starting off the year. I, while that side note is interesting internally, I think the fans would probably want to see Dallas start off with, I don't know, maybe going up against Philly or one of their traditional, maybe a San Francisco, maybe somebody like that. I think they would, but it would be intriguing. That's actually a good thought. Raymond, what's up, Raymond? Say up with the Friday funk. Yes, sir. All day, all night. Lisa said it definitely makes a difference. I don't like us going to cold weather climates late in the season that have open stadiums. That's for my team and myself because I like to travel. Absolutely. I know you do the traveling uh, a lot. Yeah, I'm looking as far as the cold weather. I know you have Philadelphia. I'm trying to pull pull it back up here for us to watch real quick. There we go. So, as far as cold weather is concerned, well, it ended up being cold and nasty in Carolina. I don't want to do that again. Uh, the Eagles and really the Broncos, I guess. They're not gonna have a late season West Coast game. I don't think they'll do that to the Falcons. I don't think they'll do that. Uh, really, so when you really look at it, we don't have that many candidates for that. Washington, possibly. I always think about the East Coast: Washington, Carolina, Philadelphia, and Denver. But I don't think Denver. I don't think we'll do that game uh, late in the season. I don't think they do a lot of West Coast games like that. Wayne, how you doing, Wayne? Wayne says Arthur Blank is probably the one who told him to pick Penix Jr. So I don't know why people are tripping. Wayne, we have to take all of this stuff with a grain of salt, man. I don't, unless I get some type of absolute quote from somebody or somebody that I trust in the game, I don't believe half of what people say. I think they did come back and verify that the conversation between Terry and Arthur Blank, where people were thinking he was explaining the Penix thing, that they say they were explaining how they wanted to come back into the first round. That's what they were explaining to Arthur Blank, not so much that the Penix move was off. And that's how people read stuff wrong. Lisa says the home schedule is good this year. It's great this year, Lisa. That's not even hyperbole. That's this is one of the greatest home schedules we've had in a long time. And I think for a change, we actually have a team that can do. The last time we had a schedule like this, shoot, it might have been 2016. You think about that home schedule where we had the Chargers come in, and that was Rivers was still kind of doing his thing. Green Bay came here. Kansas City came here. Ooh. No, the Philly game was up in Philly. Yeah, that 2016 schedule was pretty loaded. This is about the equivalent to that. It also says, Lisa says she's looking forward to that Vegas game away, though. I think you and everybody else. I am literally on the keyboard like this, waiting for them to announce that Vegas game. That should be fun. Raymond says, believe we're going to have more than one primer this year. Yeah, I think we will too. I think the Kirk Cousins credibility, that Minnesota game, unless the NFL has lost their mind, that's going to be a primetime game. Uh, Choosing one of the other ones might be kind of difficult. I think we will be put back on the Amazon Prime list. That's so weird that the Falcons were that non-factor last year that we didn't even get a Thursday night game. We'll get one this year. Probably will be a division opponent, but we'll get one. Kelvin's here. What's up, Kelvin? Said the Kansas City first game. Wow. Dream game. Cowboys on Thanksgiving. That would be interesting. Or maybe, they'll give us another chance. They gave the Falcons and the Saints an opportunity for the Thanksgiving game a few years ago when we went back to back trying to see if they could make that a rival, but we didn't play up to the pomp and circumstance of what that was supposed to be. Kansas City is intriguing, but I think with Kansas City, especially being the defending champs, I don't see them throwing Kansas City in that first game. I know last year a lot of people were thinking, Detroit was on the up, so they put Detroit against Kansas City. I've heard that rationale, which would be logical, but I think at least Detroit had a winning season going into that season opening game last year, and a lot of people thought they were the team, and they turned out to be going to the NFC Championship game. So if we get that one, Kelvin, that would be interesting. Wallace, what's going on, sir? He said, I think we will get the last home game against the Panthers this season. Yeah, that would be good. That would be awesome if we could do that. Yeah, the two back-to-back road games did not help us last year. Maybe they'll give us some love this year with the home games. Jamal, how you doing, sir? Said, rise up on my way back to the States, returning from an amazing 7-day cruise. What's up, Falcons family? Man, let me tell you something. Bruh, I hope you had the greatest time. Cruising is so awesome. The detach, get away, do your thing. I hope you all enjoyed that too. Just recently did one about a month ago. So I know the feeling. Uh, come back healthy and strong, brother, and come back ready to root these Falcons on. And hope you had a great time with your family. Rusty, what's up, Rust? Russ says, I'm so sick of social media. It made my blood boil when people actually thought Terry was explaining to pick the author. Yeah, we're going to draft a quarterback at 8 and not get approved by the owner. Sure. Yeah. Rusty, when they first start suggesting that, I thought that was just a meme gone wrong. It really was. It really was. And I see Rusty. I'm sorry, man. I see the super chat here. Thank you, brother.
Do you love me? Are you riding? Do you like my super chat? We're talking football, talking all ball at the town hall. Did you love your Uncle Steve?
Hey.
Do you love me? Do you riding?
I've been so intrigued by this Drake and Kendrick thing. I got a Kendrick thing on here too. I had to use it. He said, "Yeah, starting in Charlotte. Yeah, that would be. Listen, I would love to be able to start up there and end it back here. Like, because last year, what did we did the first three? No. Tampa Bay was away. We did the first two games, NFC South games at home, and then went on the road. Flip the script this year. Let us finish those games here. Slim guy in the house, what's up, man? He said, "What's the new slogan for our quarterback?" Or they have to play first. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna do some things. I've been trying to get creative. Obviously, the good old Desmond sounder got a lot of got a lot of traction. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get something for Kirk here once we get into the OTAs and things like that. But oh, trust me, I am thinking about that very much. David says the Greens, the Beverleys, the Brooks of the world have to play with that edge because they're not as talented as everyone else. When it goes too far, when it gets in the dirty tactics, don't mind the talk. Yeah, I'm kind of in that same realm too. I know a lot of people. Look, Draymond Green has developed himself into a Hall of Fame player, no doubt. There was a time when I was thinking he might have been the third most important person between Curry, Thompson, and him. But now I'm totally convinced because of his overall game. I think he's definitely the number two. But he, fine line. You could almost argue his antics cost Golden State a fifth championship against LeBron and company. So yeah, Yeah, says when Beverly wrecked Westbrook's knee is when I knew I wasn't a fan. Yeah, I forgot about the Westbrook thing. And like I said, we give too much credence to some of that sometimes. Again, taking it to that edge, but then knowing how to bring it back down. Got a lot of guys that get it to the edge and take it way too far. Demetrius, what's going on, sir? What is going on? GATX boy, what's going on? How you doing, sir? Watching you at work, man. Listen, I appreciate it. Don't get in trouble though. Don't be throwing my name out there. This dude right here, he talking. Come listen to him. He putting you off the clock, man. Don't do that. But I appreciate you checking in, brother. Philip Crawford says, Unk! Do you see any holes in the team that would cost us dramatically with the Falcons? Well, I would like to see them solidify the other corner position. I know a lot of people are saying let Clark Phillips develop back there. Mike Hughes is still on the roster, but Mike Hughes is I would love if they could make a pickup that would fit right in there. And the Falcons didn't draft any cornerbacks. So it either lets you know one or two things. They're satisfied with what they have, or they didn't think it was any quality cornerbacks worth going to get. I mean, not one. I think I saw one on the undrafted free agent list, but it's kind of interesting to me. Maybe they think they got it covered. Wallace says, I think our first home game in our division is going to be with the Bucks. That wouldn't shock me. Excuse me. That wouldn't shock me if we did that. Christy, how you doing, Christy? She said the New Orleans Saints for the opener or the Panthers. And as long as the New Orleans game is in New Orleans, Christy, I'm down with it. I think we did the Panthers last year, so I'm not sure if I want to see that again. But yes. She said, I'm late for this party. It's Falcons Friday. It absolutely is. It's never too late. Long as we own, you always have a seat, Miss Christie. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. Wayne says the NFL needs to stop the overseas game. That is ridiculous. Wayne, as long as we have a capitalistic society where there is money to be made in certain places, they're going to keep doing it. I must admit, it is kind of interesting that they're going in that direction. I had the pleasure of going to the London game last year, and I'm gonna tell you what, those folks go crazy about some football. That stadium was pretty full. Now it was full of all types of fans. It was supposed to be kind of a Jacksonville home game. That's how they play it, but I don't think it's going anywhere, Wayne. So if it bothers you, I'm telling you, get ready for it. He said, I will be going to the Raiders and Broncos game this year, man. Look, let me tell y'all something. If y'all going to the Raiders game, if y'all going to the Raiders game right now, just put just win, baby, in the chat. Because I want to see something. And the just win, baby, is obviously the Raiders mantra, but we gonna take it this year. I have a plan for our family to go to the Raiders game, barring anything weird. That's the game I've had circled for the last 2 seasons because you already know when you're gonna do it. So, Christy says Minnesota gets cold. Yeah, and listen, that's why, Christy, I think you want to get that Minnesota game out the way early. Get it on out the way. Even though, yeah, inside they got the dome, but outside is still cold. Yeah, I want that in September or October. I want no parts of Minnesota in November or December. Jerry says, yeah, right. Opening game gonna be Minnesota. That's what I think. That's what I'm in that boat. David says another week 1 game would be at Denver. Remember, the head coach loves trolling us, and imagine Cousins not being right and Penix having to start. Defunct Pac-10 rivals would also be a good storyline. I didn't think of That's actually a really good thought. Sean Payton, uh, in a whole nother place, meeting the team that he tortured for years, and folks, he tortured us. No doubt. We can sit back and try to pretend Sean Payton and Drew Brees had our number. Don't miss either one of them. Redskins, I mean, Can You Dig It says Redskins. I hear you. I hear you. Juan, what's up, Juan? How you doing, sir? He said we get to see 3 drafted quarterbacks, 2 former head coaches, and 1 Brock Bowers. Hey, Brock should be very interesting to see. Uh Jamal D in the house. What's up, man? How you doing, sir? Christy says, I think the Cowboys versus the Aints will be the Halloween or Thanksgiving game, the 2 teams with the most diabolical fans. Yeah, as far as we're concerned, absolutely. Uh Jamal is laughing at this. See what I said. Juan, is that auto tune? Yes, it was auto tune. I'm glad you heard that. Drake says, Juan says Drake down bad right now. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Jamal's gonna give us a super chat. This is my Kendrick attempt.
It's your uncle. Sit down. 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 It's your uncle. Sit down.
I had nothing else to do. I don't know. Again, the rivalry thing is just blowing my mind. He said, can we get that ordinary quarterback one more time? You know what? Since you asked for that, I'm gonna give you that since you had the super chat.
We're just ordinary QBs.
We play requests.
We don't know which way to throw. Cause we're just ordinary QBs. I think it's time for us to go. Time to go.
Circa 2023.
I think it's time to go.
The legend of Desmond Ritter.
We can't throw. I think it's time to
I don't know.
We can't throw.
Telling you, man. Y'all can get them notes with Bigelow.
I don't think we can throw. We can't throw.
Now let's hope this isn't the theme this year.
I don't think we can throw.
Shout out to Desmond out in the desert doing his thing.
I love Desmond.
Hopefully we don't have those type of songs this year. Thank you, Jamal. Appreciate you, brother. Rusty says, no, I'm saying we have to meet at the game in Charlotte. Yes, Rusty, I apologize because we did talk about that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you. I'm sorry, brother. I probably mixed up your meaning in there. Sorry about that. Wallace says, the first 2 home games last year was Panthers and Green Bay. What did I say? What did I say there? I think I was talking about the first NFC South home games. We played Carolina and then New Orleans. That's what I think that's what I was talking. If that's what you're rebutting to, that's what I was talking about. But yes, you're absolutely correct. But I think I was talking about having the division games be on the road because we had the division home games first last year. I think that's what you're talking about. Demetri says, I was just about to ask you your opinion about Kendrick and Drake beef. Kendrick smoking on that Drake pack. I'm going to tell you something. But, shout out to my brother Tidy at Atlanta Bird Gang. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on his YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. And look, Tidy's been 10 toes down with Kendrick on this. Here's the thing about the beef stuff. It really all it is fan base against fan base. I know a lot of people try to act like they're neutral and whatever. If Drake comes out with something next Friday, everybody be saying it's the greatest Drake diss in the world. Kendrick came out with 616 today, and everybody is like, whatever. Even though I do love the background music to that too. Kendrick has a nice little flow going on. Good for him. But It's a hip hop thing, man. As long as the beef stay on the record, that's my only deal. Just stay on the record. They've been doing they've been doing that since the days of LL Cool J and what name? Cannabis was his name? LL Cool J and Cool Mo D. They were doing that stuff long time ago. Long as it never crossed the line and you know, anything physical or stuff like that, it's all good. Rusty says Michael Irvin just got canned from NFL Network. What? Wow. Didn't see that happening. And it's kind of interesting because he just came back from the little false narrative. Remember the lady tried to accuse him of stuff last year? Oh no. Michael might get into podcasting, man. Why not? You don't have anybody running your show. Lisa says, are you expecting Penix to play all 3 preseason games? Absolutely yes. I think the most underused quarterback in preseason will be Kirk Cousins, followed by Taylor Heineke. You're going to get all Michael Penix all day in preseason. Because I think the thought now is if something happens to Kirk, quite honestly, do y'all want Heineke running out there? Or do you want Michael Penix? Antonio, what's up, brother? Good to see you in the house, man. Good to see you. The check down, y'all check out Stephen J at the check down. One of my co-hosts for the draft this about 1 week ago. Appreciate you joining us, brother. And y'all make sure y'all check him out, man. He has some great videos on there, great commentaries on what we doing. He said, no worries about that when you are the super. Okay. All right, brother. Listen, let me tell you something. If you running the show, then hey, more power to you. More power to you. I got you. Devontae says, I would like to play the Bucks just first, just to start off the season at the top of the division. I can dig it. I can dig it. He also says, just win, baby. Yes, that's one. Christy says, just win, baby. So that's 2. Christy says, Terry said in the pre-draft press conference that recruitment will be continuous 24/7, 365 after the draft. It was sort of like that last year, even throughout the season. I agree with you. Yeah, this for those who are thinking, I said this last week as well, Christy. For those thinking that after the draft, that's the absolute last move we're gonna make, y'all probably haven't been watching Terry Fontenot the last couple of years. They mess with this roster up, down, side to side, all around. Y'all remember last year? Nate Landman wasn't even. I'm not even sure Nate Landman was on the team this time last year. Was he? Remember a couple of years ago, and Caleb Huntley came out of nowhere and got on the team. Tyler Algier was inactive the first game of 2022. So yeah, we're gonna keep moving this thing, man. GA Boy said, I just moved to Arizona for work like 2 months ago. Okay. Okay. And listen, you need to hook up with Kivia Cloud. Big Falcon fan. Y'all make sure y'all hook up, man, because he be holding it down in Arizona. Cousin James in the house. They just win, baby. There we go. There we go. There we go. Juan said, just watching it, man. Y'all are crazy, man. I'm glad y'all enjoy it, man. I'm glad y'all enjoy it. That look, I want to talk sports, but I also want to have fun on this podcast. Make you smile. If y'all can laugh about something, hey, it's all good. Oh man, Jamal says, if Big Low take requests, I'm just saying, I don't know if Big Low take requests. I'm just saying, man, Big Low don't want none of this, man. Y'all hyping Big Low up, man. My brother Wolf, woo! Wolf Solidified in the house. Y'all make sure y'all check out Wolf Solidified, man. Brother be talking his Falcons, doing his thing. Please make sure y'all check him out, doing his thing on his YouTube channel. Thank you, Wolf. The chat down says, please don't sleep on the upgraded speed we have in the wide receiver room. Mooney at a 4.38 and more at 4.33. Remember, Stephen, one of the things that uh, Raheem said he wanted on this team was speed. Remember a couple of years ago, Arthur Smith wanted length at his wide receiver? Total different philosophy. Raheem said he wants speed. About 2 years ago, we came out here and every wide receiver we had was what, 6'3" and above? And now we going for the speed. We'll see if this different philosophy works. GA Boy said, don't sleep on Casey Washington. I hope not. Only thing that concerns me is him being a one, him being the 6th rounder, and 2, we have a crowded wide receiver room. Now, can Casey be on the practice squad? Absolutely. Be and not comparing him, but probably be a Frank Darby where you'll be on the side. If somebody gets hurt, you might be able to get moved up. I did see some film on him, and I haven't done intensive film study on a lot of these guys. So I hope y'all don't get mad at me if I'm not sure about what these guys do. But I did see some of Casey Washington, and he looked pretty good. Didn't have like gaudy numbers, but that probably wasn't his fault. But he looked pretty good, what I can see. Wolf says, hope all is well with Uncle Senior, man, and hope all is well with you too, my brother. I know you be on the road doing your thing. Continue success to you, my friend. Chill Rodney, what's going on, sir? Thank you for joining us here in the Friday brunch. Y'all don't forget, as y'all coming in here, please hit the like button for me. I would appreciate it. Get us out here into this YouTube universe doing our thing. He said Terry Fontenot said he was already talking to a free agent corner. I believe that. I said this is far from over. This roster is far from over. I really would love them to look into Simmons at safety position, but that's all. Christy says you don't need Cousins to do a little something during the preseason. We need to see something, and he needs to get back in the groove, get these whole ligaments warmed up. Extremely fair point. Here's the one thing I want over, Christy, during the mini camps and maybe even some of the scrimmages, I think Kirk Cousins is going to get a lot of work. It's no doubt that he will. I think that's what's most important to me, especially at 36, is for him to be as healthy as possible. I don't even think he's going to be 100% at the beginning of the year, but for the investment that we made in him, I need for him to be 100% healthy more than I need for him to. I don't want to contradict myself. You're absolutely correct about him getting some continuity with the players, no doubt. But continuity is not going to do me any good if he's 60% or 70%. I need to be as close to 90 to 100 for game one than I do for him to just get reps. Let Michael Penix get reps. Let Taylor Heineke get reps. We know for sure Cousins is going to be the starter. I harken back to last year. If y'all remember, one of the things I was very critical of for the Falcons is that we trotted Desmond Ridder out there for 8 plays last year, which ended in an interception. How ominous was that? But we trotted him out there 8 plays and said, that's it. That's what we needed. The difference in the Desmond Ridder case and Kirk Cousins case, Kirk Cousins has mileage on those wheels. Desmond Ridder did not. I would have loved to see Desmond get time last year. This is a different situation. I love for Penix to get some time in there just in case, y'all. Just in case this doesn't work out as far as injury is concerned with Kirk. Very valid point, though. Very valid point. Winston from the eye test is in the house. Eye test with Winston and John Harris doing their thing. Y'all make sure y'all give the eye test a like and subscribe as he is passing on the same love to us. Appreciate you. Another great Atlanta content creator in the house, ATAGA Faithful in here. What is going on, sir? Y'all make sure y'all check him out on his YouTube channel. Y'all talk about creative videos. Yeah, this cat right here, I'm kind of jumping on him for that. He's the man. GA says he's got hands like for sure, sure hands, true possession receiver. And that's what we need. If Casey is that guy, listen, I hope he does creep up in there. Does it make me feel Kadero Hodge is nice and he made some nice plays and he was really good. But you know what? If Casey Washington shows that he can do his thing, bring him up there and elevate him. Devontae says, I'm off subject, man. You never off subject in here, brother. For a second, but I heard OBJ went to Miami. That would be a pretty good move for them with Waddle down there and Tua throwing the ball. Let me ask you a question though. Is OBJ still that guy? It I don't know. I mean, he's still more solid than anything sans Drake that we have on our team as far as a receiver. But I don't know. For Miami, that might be perfect. For Waddle and down there with him, that might be good for him. But it's like so move for me. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. He's absolutely right. Y'all hit that like button for me. Demetrius says, if Kirk goes down, God forbid, I definitely want Penix to come in and take over instead of Mr. Taylor drinking too much Heineken. Man, y'all wrong, man. But no, I mean, these are practical moves. Listen, you didn't draft Penix at number 8 to be the third string quarterback. I was telling folks a lot last year about having that veteran presence on your team. Now we have that with Kirk Cousins. This is a perfect situation. This would have been perfect for Desmond Ridder. No fault for Desmond that he had to learn behind Marcus Mariota. But he needed somebody to at least look and emulate. Michael Penix, I think, is going to be brought up in the exact situation and will have legitimate quarterback coaches. Something that Desmond did not have here. And I blame the previous regime for that. But that was then, this is now. Wallace says, the reason Irvin is out at NFL Network is because they're making cutbacks and the NFL total access is going away. And the final program is expected to be on May 17th. Okay. All right. That makes sense. And I know everyone else is, been making cuts and changes. Congratulations to our former quarterback, Matt Ryan, as he goes to the CBS show in there. CBS, what is it? CBS Today, whatever they call it. In there, they're getting rid of Phil Simms and Boomer Esiason, and they'll land on their feet. They're fine, but they probably need a little youth in that show. The Fox show, quite honestly, they should be looking for some folks too. I loved me some Terry Bradshaw a long time ago. Loved me some Jimmy Johnson. But at the end of the day, they need to freshen that show up a little bit too. Terry, yeah. I can deal with him sometimes, but yeah. G.A. Faithful says, do you have any thoughts on Austin Mack at wide receiver? He won championship last year in the CFL and had over 1,000 yards last year out of Ohio State. I will not lie to you, Faithful. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have. I have not. I don't have any thoughts on him because I really haven't checked him out. I will make it a note to check him out and see what he's all about. But my apologies, man. And that's why when I do this, a lot of times I try to tell people from a standpoint of, listen, absolutely approach this from a fan perspective, and there are some folks that I look at more than others. Uh, some of my favorite people, like yourself, uh, Big Low Country Sports, uh, Smitty, Sports Machine, Berto at 95. Well, Berto, aka Butter Pecan, at 95 Sports Talk. Those guys break down. So, oh, my brother Chris at A1 Forever as well. Those guys really break that down. And if you want to get some knowledge on some of these players from college and probably even the CFL, please, I tell you to go to those guys for some of that. I'm definitely not as versed. I need to be, but I'm not as versed in that. I'm ready for the finished product and talk to you about how you're feeling about your Atlanta Falcons and stuff. So my bad. That's a long way of saying no, I haven't. So my fault. Demetrius says at one point Odell was one of those dudes, but injuries started catching up, and now productivity isn't the same. And that was one of those things too, Demetrius. Remember last year with when Lamar Jackson, and I blame what's the boy's name from Georgia? Todd Monken. Dude, he didn't do Lamar any favors in the championship game, but Odell was healthy. Why weren't we utilizing Odell in that game against Kansas City last year? Unless Odell was slightly injured in that particular one too. But yeah, that Odell isn't what he was. But I'll tell you, if he came here on a cheap contract, I'd take him in a heartbeat. I think he's gonna be nothing but positive for Miami. Dexter, what's going on, man? He said Hunter Renfro, Corey Davis, and Boyd still available. I'm telling you what, Hunter Renfro, that's a sneaky little possession receiver. I would not mind getting my hands on him for this roster if we could. And Boyd is going to be kind of an interesting case too. I think they're probably trying to see in Cincinnati whether they're going to be able to do some things with. I know they're saying that they're going to take care of Higgins, but just in case Higgins want to act a fool with the money, because he should get paid. It's his turn. But in case he doesn't, they'll probably have to keep Boyd for some insurance. So don't 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 think that Boyd is running out there trying to get signed by anybody real quick. I think Cincinnati's probably telling him, hold tight 1 second. We're gonna take care of you. 330 says, I know camp is gonna be lit. Any advice or suggestions on getting tickets? Arrival times for a good experience for newcomers. As far as camp is concerned, now I went to um just one last year. I do plan on going to a little bit more than I normally do, but get there early. That's the best thing I say. The parking is, yeah, the parking will fill up very quickly. It's not as much as people think. And when you go to camp, be prepared to walk because you got a long way to go when you when you go when you get to the parking lot over to the field and going up the hill and all of that. So just prepare yourself. I see you, Wallace. I see you at the end. Boyd is a free agent. Yeah, y'all missing what I was saying. I know he's a free agent, but one of the reasons why I think he's not rushing to uh go to other teams because I think Cincinnati is probably telling him, "Hey, hold up, bruh. You know the system. We know who you are. Before you sign with the other teams, keep us in mind before you hurry up and go to Atlanta or somebody like that." I know he's a free agent. With the Higgins stuff going on and Higgins kind of keep going back and forth between uh whether I want to sign this franchise. I don't think he signed his franchise deal yet. Cincinnati might have to look to him for insurance. That's all I'm saying. I absolutely am aware he's a free agent. Winston says Irvin just opened up his YouTube channel like a month ago or so, and he's back on Undisputed. He will be fine. Yeah, I never looked at Michael Irvin as being somebody who was gonna uh, not have an audience wherever he goes. Unless Winston, unless he end up on the sideline at Colorado coaching. So that could be something too. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think he'll be all right. Slim, what's up, Slim? Slim says Kurt needs to be mentally ready more than ever because the biggest issue with people coming off serious injuries are not the physical aspect, but more mental, where they are scared to re-hurt themselves. That's a very good point that you made about that. I, I'm I don't think the Kurt's gonna be all right. If Kurt doesn't play, which I think he will play, if he doesn't play one preseason game, I think I would still have faith in him starting game one because he is not his first time at the rodeo. That's one of the reasons why they invested in that veteran experience because he'll be able to do that. But that is kind of true about the mental because you're not trying to get hurt. And I'm pretty sure he's seen pictures of Caleb McGarry's protection sometimes. He's probably like, "Oh Lord, y'all gonna send me out there with that?" That's a very good point, Slim. Devontae says OBJ having flashes here and there, but father time undefeated all day, every day. Which is one of the reasons, Devontae, why the Penix pick doesn't bother me. It's so weird to me that the same fan base that was so adamant about how great Desmond Ritter and well, I'll take the trifecta for the last 2 years. The Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ritter, Taylor Heineke combination. For those who were so adamant that that was going to work, I'm surprised people aren't just shooting fireworks that we're getting one of the better veterans in the league and one of the higher rated quarterbacks coming out of college. The only reason Michael Penix isn't in the top 3 is because of the past injuries. That's it. If Michael Penix came in here without one of the ACL injuries, I think he would have gone number 2, 3 easy. Definitely would have gone over Drake May. But it's a world where you got to worry about injuries. uh like said, Butter Pecan. Yeah, that's his new nickname, man. Whether he likes it or not. We we're gonna start up the Butter Pecan nickname for my buddy. Travis says, who are you most intrigued to see going in training camp? Rook, man. I want to see if Rook is going to be the answer. We have tried the second round defensive tackle 3 times. My buddy from and his name just what's my buddy from the championship? Oh, y'all help me. What's the defensive tackle second round we got that was on the Super Bowl team? What's his name, y'all? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Marlon Davidson and now Rook. Yeah, we have not had much success at getting that stuff, that space filler on the line. I'm gonna put it down. I know y'all figured that out. Who am I talking about, y'all? The oh, what's my guy's name that Brian Cox can't Hagelman. Thank you, David. I knew you were gonna come through. Hagelman. Thank you. Rashid Hagelman. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's who I'm intrigued to see, Travis. To see if he's gonna be that guy. Dexter says, Unc, I hate it when I catch you at work. I'm a diesel mechanic. Oh man, okay. I be under the truck putting on a starter and inspecting the truck and trying to respond. Love your platform. You got the best hands down. Man, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And don't think I take that for granted because it's a lot of good guys out here in this space, man. And I don't take those compliments lightly. Thank you so much for doing that. Man, I'm all about just trying to have fun, be out here for y'all, and pass on info, man. But be careful under them trucks, man. I gotta look. I might need you mess with one of these trucks I got too, man. But look, Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do. Much love for you for that, man. Thank you. Uh, ATLGA Faithful says I was sleeping on the JD Bertrand pick, but I did some research and we definitely got a steal there. Watch for him in camp. That's actually another good one. Anytime I see somebody leading their team in tackles, anytime I see you leading the team in tackles, that is a good sign for me. I know a lot of people like say, well, they're yards down the field. No, but if I see you have volume tackles, I don't want to make a huge. When Alua Khan came out, that was one of the first things out of was he Yale? I know it was the Ivy League. When I saw the number of tackles he had, that was something that I was like, oh, okay. All right. That'll work. So yeah, JD is pretty good. And JD's a local kid too. That's some good stuff. I look at that. Winston says, me and John working on scheduling, but we may do a show at training camp. That's cool. Got to be careful at training camp, though. I know when y'all say they do shows, they're very kind of funky up there about recording stuff. I know that as long as they see you recording yourself on there, but they are. I've seen that before where people was trying to do uh, some of their content up there, but they're kind of strict about that. Just a warning. Dexter says, I don't think I would be a good owner. I don't believe it's my turn to get paid mess. If you're the 10 best receivers or any other position, I don't think you should become the highest paid. Well, here's what I think. And I want to make it clear because I did say that. If you're on that echelon, and I think Higgins is very nice. Chase is the moneymaker on that team. Don't get me wrong. But let me kind of backtrack and go here and see if that helps out. The market value is always going to go up. For those who always try to make the comparisons about what quarterbacks made back in the day, Matt Ryan got crucified for this type of stuff. Matt Ryan's making more money than Tom Brady. He's doing this stuff. Well, one, Tom Brady was probably getting money under the table. I know a lot of people reported on that, but never really followed up. And two, Tom Brady used to always sign friendly deals. He signed friendly deals so he could help help the team uh, pay for everybody coming in. Tom Brady was, dude, we're going to find out this story 10, 15 years ago. You don't think Robert Kraft was paying Tom Brady under the table? You need glasses worse than I do. Tom Brady was definitely getting taken care of. But going back to the point, they can't help what the market says right now. Do y'all actually think some of these wide receivers coming out right now are worth the money that they're getting? I love the cat from Amara St. Brown. I love him as a wide receiver. But honestly, do y'all think he's worth that much? I think he's a good receiver, but I don't think he's worth that much. Some of these edges that are getting money. Danielle Hunter is nice. I like him. Hey, they're $30 million a year. But you can't be mad at that because that's the market. Kirk Cousins. Where else can a 36-year-old, well, I keep saying 36. He's 35, he'll be 36 when the year starts. 36, potentially 36-year-old can get $100 million guaranteed because it was just his turn this year. Baker Mayfield, who had one of the weirdest 3 years where he went from Cleveland to Carolina to a game at the Rams and now to Tampa Bay, and now he's getting paid $30+ million. Geno Smith, who was this close to going to the UFL or whatever it's called now, he ended up getting paid last year. So that's where I'm going when I say that, Dexter. Not so much that about deserving, but that's the market. at the time. And it keeps going up. And I just kind of trying to acclimate myself to saying that that's what they're going to get, contrary to what we want. Jamal says, I think we get the best version of Kurt possible with Penix on his heel. See, that's the way I'm looking at it, Jamal. A lot of people have been saying, oh, well, mentally that might mess him up. What? Let me tell you something. If you're 36 years old in the NFL and you haven't had to have any pressure coming up behind you as a quarterback, see Matt Ryan, then, you know, it's time. I'm pretty sure Kurt wasn't exactly thrilled. He said, according to his management, which again, I still say that was foolish of them to come out with a statement early. But if you think for 1 minute that you're safe in your job, in the NFL, they are all one injury away. So for him, it's not fair. Trey Lance, if y'all think about Trey Lance, we wouldn't even know about Brock Purdy if Trey Lance didn't get hurt. We can't say Trey Lance was trash. Trey Lance got hurt first game. We don't know. We never know what he would have been. But in this league, you got to be on your toes. So yes, hopefully Kurt will get some motivation with Penix being right behind him. Maybe that healing power will happen a little quicker with Penix right behind him. Dexter says it shouldn't be not one quarterback in the league making more money than Mahomes. Everybody, it's my turn. No, it's not in my book. You got your 1,000 yards and you want to be number one in money. No, sir. I hear you loud and clear. And there's a lot of people that think the same way you do. I don't have a problem with that. But if you've noticed, every time Patrick Mahomes signed that contract 3 years ago, every single time that quarterback class started to get paid, when Herbert got his money, when Burrow got his money, what did they do with Patrick Mahomes? They redid it, whipped it, and now Patrick Mahomes is back as far as on the annual getting more money. And I hear what you're saying as far as potential. You shouldn't. A lot of people think you shouldn't get paid for potential. Kind of depends, man. In a capitalistic world, that's what you're getting paid for. Most of the time, you're not getting paid for what you did. You're getting paid for the potential of what you could do. And I hear you loud and clear about Patrick Mahomes being the number one paid player. He should, no doubt. It's almost like the thing when Nick Saban, and congratulations while we're talking about this, to Kirby Smart, highest paid coach on the annual, $13 million a year. He deserves it. But when you think about Patrick Mahomes and what he's done in his short period of time, like his agents are probably looking out and saying, "Hey, dude, just every 2 years we'll go back to the table. We'll re-whip it, get you paid, no problem." But yeah, Dexter, it's paying on potential, man. It's paying on potential. Right now, if you did that, if you go by, yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes now, he's at a point where, yeah, he should always get paid. Same thing with Brady. Brady should have always got paid. That was one of the reasons Brady went to Tampa. Because Brady said, well, let me get real money now. The hush money must not have been good to him. Because there's really no way he should have gone out of New England. Kelvin says, example, Dak, I wouldn't pay him $60 million. Understand. Little different in Dallas. If you succeed in Dallas, almost like the Frank Sinatra, you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Did y'all think Tony Romo should have got paid? At that time, he did. No NFC championship games, none of that, but he got paid. The difference in Dallas, you're paying for the top, probably next to the New York Yankees. You're playing for the top franchise in the United States. You're the quarterback for the top franchise in the United States. That alone has worth, whether we want to say it or not. If Trey Lance goes to Dallas, not goes to Dallas, if he unseats Dak in 2 years and goes to the Super Bowl, he's a rock star. Michael Parsons, think about Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons went to Dallas, started balling out. He's a rock star because you're on the most popular team. Think about all these New York Yankees. You go to New York Yankees, you go to their team and you ball out, you're a rock star. But I hear what you're saying about that. I wouldn't pay him $60 million. I don't think any other team would pay him $60 million, but Jerry will. Dak ain't going nowhere, y'all. Dak is not going anywhere. But I hear you loud and clear. 330 says Kirk has proven himself. We know what he is. I also feel that he understands this process and his role in it moving forward. I do too. I do too. Appreciate you, Devontae. I see you coming in with Hagelman too on there. David says Anderson as a situational pass rusher. Thoughts? I think so. I'm more. You know what I really want to see, David? I really want to just see him kind of work his way back in the rotation. Because if you think about it, nobody thought Nate Landman would be in the spot that he is right now. And I think that's a problem. It's a good problem, but they're going to have to figure out something for Troy Anderson. I wouldn't mind that. Winston says, I'm on Ross St. Brown, won me my fantasy league last year. He's a true dog out there and is a great blocker on the perimeter. All of that is true. But is he $25 to $30 million as a receiver? Going back to Dexter's point, I think he's good, but that's the market right now. Market is that much money. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It is what it is. Dexter says, we don't do good at drafting D-line. The best D lineman we've drafted in the past 15 years is Grady. We do good at wide receiver, cornerback, and linebacker. D-line, we are garbage. Straight garbage. I agree with you. It's kind of interesting. Dexter, I'm trying to give Terry a little bit of leeway this year because now you got another coach, a different philosophy, a different defensive coach. Let's see what happens. I want to believe hopefully that trend ends, but we have not done well on the D-line. Billy Mills, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Uncle Steve's Lounge. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. Chrissy says, I don't know why Kurt thought he had a pass. His contract has that tiny print as everyone else, and he found out at the draft. Coach Morris said it at the first locker room conference. Everybody has to work. Christy, that's when those guys don't want to hear the same thing about us working. I got to keep my slot because there's somebody behind me that's want to take my job and my position and my pay. Kurt has to stay frosty. He better. I want to tend to not believe that he has the attitude that some of the reporters are saying. I would hope not. That's why whoever did the management, I thought that was a dumb statement to come out. He's hurt. He's mystified. He's curious. He doesn't that stuff. Why would you come out and make your quarterback, your client, seem weak? To me, that's a sign of weakness to me. First thing I would have done on my Twitter or whatever, bring it on. What's up, Mike? Let's work. Let's do it. That's leadership. And more importantly, that's saying, yeah, bro, I'm not worried about you. I gotta still do me. I'm with you 100%. And Raw told him. And maybe that was done to make him uncomfortable to the point. Now you really see what you have. There are a lot of people out there that don't believe in this signing. A lot of people talking about just one playoff win. So this is his opportunity, Kirk Cousins, to kind of get them off that train. Dexter says they're talking about we hurt Kirk's feelings. He didn't give us a discount to bring in other players. Vikings only wanted to guarantee next year, not this year. I don't care about this team. Same thing to RG. Yep, absolutely. Fair point. These are fair points, y'all. And you're not gonna see me making any excuses for Kirk Cousins and feelings. None. I hope it's nothing but talk. But I don't think it's I would hope he's not doing that. I would hope he's not. Winston says Patrick was smart because the way his contract is structured, he's able to keep his top offensive weapon and majority of his defense. He's about winning rings. He's about more than enough in endorsements. That's true. Got the little hotel with Travis Kelsey doing this thing. Absolutely. That David says Dallas is the most valuable sports franchise in the world, according to Forbes. And I didn't know. Now in the world, I thought it would have been Manchester United, but I know between Dallas, the Yankees, and Manchester United, they're all up there somewhere. They got to be. But that doesn't shock me at all. Zero shock. Dimitri says, plus, when it comes to that, Dallas has no other choice but to pay him because he's the only quarterback one that they have. That's true too. Millie says, not to change topics, but the game 6 in Orlando tonight. Y'all tune in and catch Banchero get busy against Cleveland and avoid elimination. Listen, I kind of thought Orlando would fight tough with them. That's not really that much of a shocker to me. I was telling my son, we were talking about the Eastern Conference. There's no one in the Eastern Conference that I have confidence in. I know a lot of people trying to build up New York and whatever. Quite honestly, I think I still don't think Embiid was 100%, even though he was dropping some points when he needed to. But I don't think Embiid was 100%. Obviously, Milwaukee without Giannis is a good team, but not a great team. And then whoever comes out of this right here, uh, yeah, I think everyone just lining up for the eventual Boston beating. Quite honestly, Boston right now is on the tier with the top 3 or 4 teams in the West. Right now, the East is up for grabs, which frustrates me about the Atlanta Hawks so much. The Atlanta Hawks are not super far behind Orlando, Cleveland, Indiana, New York. They're not far behind those teams. I'm telling everybody. And laugh at me if you want to. They're not that far behind them. That's what frustrates me about how far they've fallen from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 years ago to can't even make a play-in game. Hopefully, the Hawks will get that right. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me if Orlando did their thing. Robin, how you doing? Thank you for joining me, Robin. Thank you for joining me in here. April Thomas, that's Ron Thomas talking about I would pay Dak with food stamps. Man, y'all know Dak gonna get paid. Jamal says, I'm a Cavs fan, and I said before the series we might go 7 with the Magic. Yeah, yeah. After this, when it's all said and done, I kind of thought all the Eastern Conference, with the exception of Boston, would go 7 games. I thought Philadelphia would find a way to win yesterday. That doesn't shock me. The Bucks, they were handed a rough hand. You're without your best player. And when your best player is one of the top 5 players in the league, it that's a whole different ball game. Even with Dame on the team, that's a whole different ball game, y'all. you can't expect to go far. Jamal says, talking about the Cavs. Are you talking about Orlando or the Cavs? They're young, tall, and tough on defense. Demetrius says, I don't like Boston, but I look at them as one of the top teams to come out of the Eastern Conference. I just look at them as the team. You're not, Porzingis going down kind of hurts a little bit, but I just don't see anybody. Do you really see Indiana getting two from Boston when they play? Do you see um, Cleveland getting two from? I just don't see it. I don't see it. A Jimmy Butler Miami team would have given Boston a little bit more business. That's just me. Winston says Philly had the best shot to dethrone Boston this year. A fully healthy Embiid would have been an issue for Boston. Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers if they lose this series to Orlando. That would be an interesting move if Donovan went there. I know a lot of rumor mill has our buddy Trey going there, and it wouldn't bother me if DJ stayed here and led things. That wouldn't bother me at all if they did that. Jamal says I was talking about the Magic. Yeah, that team is on the come up. I like what was my buddy from who's that? Jalen Suggs. He's the truth too. Yeah, but they have a really good team. But I just don't see, quite honestly, I really don't. The Western Conference is going to be a trip. Because Denver, I'm kind of surprised they made as quick work as they did with the Lakers. I thought the Lakers would kind of push a little bit. But boy, OKC, Minnesota, oh, they look like they ain't playing. I was saying at the beginning of the year, I was like, yeah, I see these young teams, OKC, Minnesota coming in, but I didn't know if I thought a team like the Clippers might be a problem, but Clippers can't stay healthy. Clippers were healthy. That was going to be my under the cover pick in the Western Conference. But with no Kawhi or not a healthy Kawhi, and I'm telling you, the one thing I can vouch for is a MCL. Yeah, the MCL goes, and I can only imagine you playing the way Kawhi plays. You gotta have healthy knees. Demetrius says, sometimes I imagine what a duo of Trey and Donovan Mitchell on the Hawks would have looked like. I know. Donovan Mitchell, man, ever since Utah, it's a nice cat. He is. Nice, nice player. Jamal says that Timberwolves Nugget series is going to be crazy. Because Timberwolves have some length, too. That length is going to be a trip. One way or the other, Jokic is going to have to come out that middle because Cat gonna shoot threes just like Jokic will. And I'm telling you right now, and I see Demetrius talking about what I was about to say. Anthony Edwards is nice. I've seen that he's been getting compared to Jordan and Kobe as far as mentality. Let me tell you something. Forget the comparisons. That's what we are, a society that we love to try to compare. Let that young man, and I'm not talking to you, Demetrius, but I'm saying with all the other people talking about comparisons, Anthony Edwards is different. And he's a different dude. And if you mess around and let these cats beat the Nuggets, Timberwolves are going to be tough. That's going to be a tough, even for OKC. That's going to be a tough team to beat. And long overdue for Minnesota. Winston says, for the scheme, the Hawks try to run. Murray is a better fit. Target Paul George and maybe Zubac type player, and y'all will get to where y'all want to go. See, here's the problem. I don't want retreads. Paul George is outstanding. I just want to see us try to build somebody. Let some of these young boys play. Jalen Johnson is going to be a problem. Let them play. Get these guys in. I don't know if Kobe Buffington is going to be the guy or not, but give him a shot. Give some of these guys a chance. These young guys. See what OKC is doing? Now, don't get me wrong. OKC got a chance to get some lottery picks lined up and kind of matching them together. It's a little different story. But yeah, let some of these guys play, these young guys. I wouldn't get any of those retreads. I wouldn't. Build your own. Build your own. Jamal says I like Donovan, and he a problem with my Cavs. We needed a dominant small forward when he got him. Yeah. Let your boy Garland do his thing. Let Allen patrol the middle. Yeah, Donovan was like a perfect fit for them. Our backcourt with Garland and Donovan is talented but too small to be our best players like Dame and CJ. Yeah. Devontae says, "Is it just me?" I say, "Is it me, or does the NFL and NBA now look the same when it comes to conference? The Eastern and the NFC look like the Western look in the AFC. The East NFC is open, and the West AFC is a dogfight." Yeah, that's a fair comparison. It's absolutely a fair comparison. That's crazy how it kind of matches up that way. Winston says that's why you get Paul George. You get George back to his original spot at shooting guard, and Johnson stay at small forward. But here's the problem, though. If I'm almost like Trey, Paul George is a supermax guy, and trying to look on here right quick before I make that assumption. Paul George he just turned 34. I don't know. I don't know how much Paul George got left. He's been playing great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know how much he has left. I'm not. I don't know if I'm going to invest in that or not. I don't know. I love the fact that we just went. We started at the Falcons schedule and we ended at the NBA playoffs. That's what you're going to get in Uncle Steve's Lounge when you start talking about the Friday brunch. We'll be back for the Sunday chill. Y'all check us out Sunday evening, probably at 6 o'clock for the Sunday chill. It's been outstanding. Appreciate everyone today joining us. Don't forget, not only to tell your friends, but make sure y'all hit the like button on the video so we can get this thing out there. Thank you for my content creators for coming in here, supporting your ump. Much love to everybody. We'll check you all out Sunday chill, 6 p.m. Sunday evening. Until then, everyone have a great Friday. I know it's supposed to rain a little bit this weekend, but y'all have a good one. Take care of yourself. We'll see you this weekend. Peace.